everyone, Zach here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. I'm here joined by Darth Microtransaction. Darth, what's up, man?
Hey, man, it's another day. How are you doing?
I'm doing great until I read that we've been called out. We, us content creators of Raid Shadow Legends, have been called out on Reddit. Not just this one post, and, you know, to say called out, I guess is accurate, but at the same time, there's other meaner posts than this one, too. So I'm picking out a good, coherent example of people kind of upset right now. And I figured we'd kind of go through this post and talk about it, talk about why people are mad at Plarium and it's bleeding over to content creators. Who cares about, at the end of the day, who cares about content creators? But, you know, we are one, so we might as well talk about it, right?
It's our job.
That's our job. So why don't you start, Darth, by painting a picture here. A lot of this frustration, a lot of this ire comes from the lack of response from Plarium over the daily login reward system, right? Can you kind of give us a brief history of what's going on there?
Sure. So just the facts is basically once you've completed the login rewards, you have a set number of logins. And those login rewards were always consistently the same thing: energy, silver, you know, the typical stuff. But what the big, basically, headstones of these login rewards were is Sacred Shard, 5-star chicken. Okay. Effectively, later on in the game, they decided that something that heroes needed, the terminology they used, I forget exactly, but basically their logic was players who are getting into the game and who are fairly newer need Cleopatra or whatever her name is in order to clear upcoming content as well as the content that's in the game. That was their sort of logic. Now, how they chose to give that to the players was by in the slots where both, who would have guessed, the Sacred Shard and the 5-star chicken were. Instead, you get the shards of this hero. Now continue forward after everyone's starting to get the logins and has this hero completed. Now we see an epic hero that is going into these spots, which doesn't fill the criteria they've mentioned of putting in heroes that seem to be important to clearing content. We have an arguable, a vaultable epic, and I think people are now starting to see the disparity between the reasoning behind why the removal was done, as well as the continual addition in those spots seem to be counteracting their own logic. So I think that's where the continued ire comes from, but that's just what the details of what actually happened are.
Yeah, man. Plarium really, they could stand to use a little bit of help on the PR front, you know, because
I agree.
it's they do add a lot of good things to the game, but they also make very questionable, just to be kind, decisions on stuff like this, right? Like, you know, you really kick yourself in the behind when you're doing, you know, you're adding some good stuff, but then you either don't follow through, which we'll get to some of these, you know, notes up above me right now as well.
Sure.
But you don't follow through, or you just make kind of weird changes that don't make a ton of sense other than just to take resources out of players' pockets. So, you know, this is us talking about it, first of all, right? So, you know, let's, my solution is this. They said they're not going to add, there's no chance they're going to add Sacred Shards back, right? At this point.
I don't believe so. However, my argument would be with the addition of the duplication system, adding more shards isn't really the end of the world, as the monetization is still in play once you have a hero. So the argument of when you acquire a new hero, now the person may not want to buy more shards or do more pulls is no longer as relevant, in my personal opinion, just by the ever-changing goalpost of the power structure of this game. And so for that reason as well, I feel like, you know, maybe Sacred Shards aren't really as big as a deal as they used to be. And I think there's a lot more heroes in the pool and et cetera, et cetera. So I just don't believe that the power of one shard is as strong as it quite used to be, which would, again, be my own subjective opinion. I don't see why giving them the shard be a big deal. But if you're asking the question, do I think they're going to do it? The answer is no. I don't believe Plarium is going to renege on this one. I think it was a PR move of basically saying they're doing it because people need this legendary hero, which was sort of the Emperor's doesn't have clothes when we saw the epic type of deal.
That one is tough. I don't buy that one at all. You know, to me, it seems pretty transparent that they just didn't want to give these good of rewards. But I think the chickens almost hurt more than the sacred, you know? I'm just thinking about the perspective of my free-to-play account, which I'm on right now, and losing in the arena as we speak, Darth, live for my viewers. But the thing is the chickens are what I really, really was looking forward to. I'm not even there yet at the end of the daily login reward. But, you know, that's, the food is still such a food farm farming is such an arduous process, especially if you're not a big spender in this game. So that's what really hurts to me. However, let me ask you this, because this is my idea. I always try to think of like, what would Plarium go for? You know, because that's like a huge thing.
A happy middle ground is what we're trying to find here.
So my question to you is what if we did life tokens instead? What if we did life tokens? I still think chickens is pretty crucial to have in there because life tokens don't help you out. There's no way to upgrade these champions. However, what if we did a happy medium of adding in even if we did 500 life tokens, which I doubt they do, but if we did 500, it would still take 8 months, right? Or is that math right?
It would be longer than that. It cost 8,000 for Nicholas, so it would take 16 months
4,
at 500. If they added 500, if they added
4,000 though for Sir Nick.
Oh, is it 4,000?
Yeah, 8 legendaries.
No, you're right. It's 8 legendary. That's where I got the number 8. It's 8 legendary. So you're right. It would be 8 months if you count as 1 legendary. I was thinking maybe they put in like in each one of the the sacred and the chicken, we get 500 tokens each. But then it'd be 4 months for Sir Nick, which I think is realistically not going to happen. I mean, 8 months would be more exciting to get life tokens because then at least you get to choose. Maybe you need a Fushan or something. It doesn't have to be Sir Nick. Whereas as it stands currently, I think one of the biggest parts is it's just really disappointing to be able to look into the future as somebody and know I have this hero and then this other crappy hero as the 2 people I'm going to get for playing the game literally over a year. I think it's just disappointing as a player to look and be able to see that into the future.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% there. So let's talk about the other things. First of all, just I want your honest. I know you always give your honest take on this stuff, but I want your honest take on, as a content creator, what do you do about, like, do you try? Because I could easily get on here every video, and this is a question to my audience just as much as it is to Darth here. But I could get on here every single video and complain about something. I really could, because there's a lot to complain about, and there's a lot of ideas. So there's a lot of ideas I have to do stuff better, and I think I do it a lot because I obviously watch all my videos because I'm recording all my videos, right? But where is that line for content creators as you see it? And my viewers, I want to hear from you guys, because I don't want to be that like for me, when I tune into anything on YouTube, no matter what it is, gaming, non-gaming, I'm not necessarily looking for somebody to constantly crap on the game or the subject at hand all the time. Otherwise, I'd probably feel a little bit more, down in the dumps about it and a little bit more disenfranchised. So I try to strike that balance, just my opinion. What about you?
All the show for it and all that because you don't talk about I mean, I get where you're going at here, which is that how
I just don't want to bum my audience out. I don't want to be that guy who's like always complaining. Then I'm like, why am I watching this guy if all he comes up,
Here's how I see it. I don't think it's bumming the audience out to talk about something that your audience is talking about. So if it's your community, and not only your community, but it's literally on the front page of Reddit with like 5 things, and then you have basically every content creator talking about something, it doesn't seem to me to be outside of the world of reasonable to bring the conversation up to your people. That doesn't mean that is what you have to do. I mean, everyone's channel is their own journey. Your channel can just be, all I want to have in my life is a positive vibe. And there's zero wrong with that. Like, you don't have to prescribe to anyone else's opinion on what it is you want to do for yourself. So I don't think there is a balance, man. I think the balance is pursuing what you like and what you do and what you believe in. And if you like are seeing something in particular that you have a problem with and you talk about it, that's just you saying your honest belief. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. And if you're honest, you're honest. But if you also really like something, like if you're really positive about Raid, I've been one of the most negative people ever on Raid, but in the last like 2 to 3 months, you're going to see in almost all my videos, I've been saying the game is progressively getting better because I think it actually is. Like, the gacha game has gone from what I thought was a very bad game to a admittedly pretty good gacha game. I mean, it has improved over the years I've been here. Doesn't mean it doesn't have problems, and it doesn't mean we're not going to talk about them because that's literally our job. But the balance in and of itself, there is no fine line balance. It's
man. And I don't want to give the impression that like I'm scared to like be negative. I don't like whatever, dude. Like, again, I think that because you read comments, right? And some of the comments are like, dude, I don't watch this video I don't watch this channel to hear complaints all the time when you start getting a little heavy, So I think that for me, I do want to talk about the issues and what the community is talking about, right? It's important to me to do so. And I think that, I think a lot of creators do that, However, with that said, I don't want to I guess my goal here is not to spread negativity in the world, right? There's enough negativity in the world and news headlines and everything else you watch that I don't want to always be doing that. But I guess we can put it, no one really cares what we talk about. No one cares about this conversation, I'm sure. So let's.
I mean, we're
Yeah,
YouTubers, so it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, if there's something people are talking about, you're going to talk
sure.
about it.
And
It's
I
not
agree with
like
you.
you're going out there and you're saying the names of these people and leaking their address. You're talking about a product in a game that you play that you literally make a living off of. So I think if people are giving you crap for being negative about something, it's like, dude, you're
Well, you're gonna
overwhelmingly
get crap no
positive in
matter
like
what you
all
put.
your videos.
No
Like
matter what you put on
you're
the internet, you're
fine.
gonna get crap, and it doesn't bother me. I just want to be. I always want to be cognizant of, what the majority of my viewers want. So anyway, with all
They're
that said,
adults. Yeah, they're adults. They know. They can see the logic and hear the balance, I mean,
yeah.
that's
uh,
that's what I would think. Just everyone's reasonable enough to understand what you're saying and have your own opinion about
Yeah.
everything.
I think the game has a lot of like my take, I guess, in a nutshell, high level 30,000 foot view is I think that the game has a lot of flaws. Player makes some incredibly questionable decisions. But with that said, like I think it's the best gacha game out there, and I like the game, obviously. Otherwise, why would it be covering it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But this guy asked, I want to touch on some other things that ought to be mentioned here. This guy I saw in the responses of this Reddit thread said, "We want our sacred shard and a five-star chickens back. We get that. We talked about that. Why have all the recent fusions at free champs been bad to mediocre?" I actually asked Cirilla when she came on about this, and she said every champion has a purpose. And I said, what about Harrier, dude? He sucks.
Somehow.
And what about all these other champions? So that was kind of a, whatever answer, kind of a non-answer answer. But, why have all the fusions in the free champions been bad to mediocre? Yeah, I mean, there's been some exceptions to that rule, certainly, especially if we go back longer, like Ninja, and he was only 4 months ago or whatever. But
Fusions are the one where I think I'm probably more on the other side of this one with the fusions, where it's like the fusions are the one where it's like they're just fun for me. They're just a bonus. Like it's like, yeah, I can talk garbage about them because a lot of them aren't worth doing, or it'll be a bait or whatever the common thing is we say, right? But most of the fusions are like, I just don't do them, or I just do the event just to get the freebies. Like that's kind of how I feel about freebies and tournaments, or like the 10x and the 2x thing. Like recently I had a video where I was talking about the guaranteed champion. Have like 120 guaranteed Ginzin. And it was like there was kind of a negative feeling about that one because it's like, it's a bait after, the 2x or whatever. But it's like I didn't actually like mind that they did that in my particular, because it's like you had the 2x, which is the one that we literally all like, and we did it first so that you can do it first, right? And if it was the other way around, we would have been mad because the 2x, which wasn't announced, is after the 10. I get you want to hear both, but it's like I can hear it. On that one, it's like, yeah, some of the fusions can be bad, but a lot of them are like you just ignore them, or you just do the event for the freebies.
Well, I agree with you. I think that, I think you might have just mentioned it too towards the end there, but for me, it's just communicate, like I think if people had known that, ahead of time, then it would have been cool. It would have been fine, but I mean, even me, like, I love Hegemon. I really want him, like he's my most wanted champion. If I had known, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I missed it. Maybe we got the heads up. I have no idea. But if I had known that he was going to be available, I probably wouldn't have pulled the 100 voids or whatever I did, So it is what it is. But I guess a better communication on events like that for me. Huh?
Said true. You make a good point.
Thank you.
Because
I was legitimately bummed about it. I was like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I wasn't like,
your point.
Yeah. So yeah, that one, not a fan of that. But okay, so let's move on here. Why? Last thought from me on the fusions is they do appear to be sucking a lot more, right? Like the quality of fusions and fragment summons, especially fragment summons, have been really, really trash. But I guess I have a little bit of your mentality there, Darth, where personally I just don't go for them if they're trash, because they're having them so much more frequently too, that I don't really want to, the whole full-time job thing with Raid being like taking so much of your time anyway, and so many champions they're throwing at us. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just not going to go for it, But it'd be nice for them to continue to add in the Brognies and the Herndigs and the good ones, coming up. So I hope they do that. But I imagine they will, but we'll see. Why no feasts for tourneys and event prizes? But don't replace the Lego book, he says. So what's up with the feast? What's up with all these things that they added to the game and now we haven't seen them at all?
Wait, fees? Did I hear this
The
correctly?
these things, the XP barrels and stuff. I think he's talking
Oh, the
about.
feast. Okay,
Yeah,
I
the
thought for some
feast.
reason you're saying there's a fee to enter a tournament now. I was about to
The
be like, oh
feast.
my god, the ultimate WoW versus
Yeah,
WoW
right.
tournament. Yeah, the Feast of the Barrels kind of came out of nowhere. I think the feasts are cool, but it kind of seems to me where it's like it only seems like a free to play thing because it's do are chickens really something whales aren't getting a hold of? It doesn't seem to me like there's not enough chickens to buy as a whale. And then on top of it, chickens aren't exactly like eating up your inventory space. I mean, they could stack them on top of each other, so it's not a million of them if they want, but they stack in like the thing up there. It just shows you how many chickens you have. It's not like a big deal. So the feast and barrows are just kind of weird to me, man. It's like it just those ones didn't really make a lot of sense. It just seems like kind of well bait. I don't
I
know.
just figured something that they could sell, personally. But
Yeah,
I mean,
basically.
I had what did they give us one barrel for free or something like that?
No,
Or
they
or
didn't
am I
give
making that
anyone
up?
any of them.
Okay, well
I
I had a
don't have any.
barrel. I had a barrel on my main account. I might have bought it. I might have won it in a tournament. I have no idea how I got it, but I got it
Probably a
and
tourney.
I used it and it was awesome for a moment. So I would love to have more of those in game. I have no idea where they are right now. No idea how they're going to come, but I imagine they would be tied to tournaments and events. Otherwise, they're just going to sell them to us. So, hey, we talked about the chicken. I don't think they give us a feast if they're taking away chickens in the
There's
daily
dude,
login.
there's literally zero chance. So
Yeah.
the one thing that could be kind of cool is if you could crunch like an X number of brews into a barrel, because then the barrel could actually be used theoretically like on other affinities that your brews aren't for, since the barrel is not like affinity tied, right? So
Yeah.
like they could do some cool crafting options or something with it. I could see in the future to make brews better. Like I think Plarium has made a shift in the last year from audience acquisition to audience retention in terms of like the shift of their focus. And I think that's where we've seen a lot of like better quality of life and like health improvements. And now we have the dupe system and stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be a possibility, is what I'm saying. I'm willing to be
Mm-hmm.
optimistic about the barrows and feasts, is where I'm coming from. Like, they don't really
Yeah.
make a lot of sense, but it's like there's no reason to be angry about them either. It's, maybe in the future we can craft into them, or they'll give them at events for Christmas or something. So it's, who cares about those ones, right? That's how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm on the same page. It's a net gain, something we didn't have before.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they'll find a way to get them to us. It's just a question of like where are they? But we'll
Where and
see.
when.
Uh, I'm assuming they'll come this month. With Hydra Clan Boss and stuff like that. I'm assuming. Otherwise, why would they add them and never put them in the game ever? Why when they put the Lego book back, did they increase its cost by 500 points? Me on this one, I didn't even. I'll just be honest and cop to it. I wasn't even aware they did that.
Are
Were
they
you?
talking about in tournaments,
I
like
think so.
tournament
That's
events?
how I took it.
So those, I'm pretty sure those have like been varied,
They
right? I
always
mean, aren't they
vary.
kind of like
I don't
always over the
know.
place? Maybe when they put a legendary book in, there's always been the
Well,
same. But I haven't been aware of
I
that. I
can
mean,
do
to
only
be
one
honest, I
thing at
don't do
this.
tournaments that far typically.
I can copy and then I can put it and paste it in the Plarium chat. That's all I can do on that one.
There you
So,
go. You got the
where
man himself on it.
Boom, I'm on it. Where is our extra champ storage space 100% promised for the faction ring?
Okay,
Another
like
great
that.
question. This is one that I was thinking about, and I think we both mentioned this one in videos already, because the first thing that you do when you look at the faction guardians is think to yourself, "Oh my God, I'm going to need a lot more space for this." So that one, have you heard anything on that?
I'm kind of in the same boat as this guy. Like I heard we were getting it. Maybe it's coming in 5.0. I haven't read the 5.0 highlight yet. I scrolled down to see the buff for the sharpshooter that came out this morning, and I did a video with J-Geeks on that one. But I haven't read in its entirety because it looked like it was mostly talking about the Hydra. So no, I didn't see storage anywhere in there. I'm not aware of when it's coming. I was aware we were supposed to be getting some. I've been told that too, but when or where, yeah, I don't.
Well,
I'm in the dark.
let's go take a little quick looky here. Biggest updates ever. Here it is. Give me a follow at CWA on Twitter if you guys want to. And I don't want to add this to my home screen. What are you, Darth? What is your
Darth
Twitter
Micro
handle?
T. At Darth Micro T.
At Darth Micro T. There you go. So the Hydra clan boss, a bunch on that. New buffs and debuffs. We have the life barrier. We have the poison cloud.
Yeah, they
Uh,
walk through all of them.
I'll link this, by the way, guys, in the video. You guys can check out JGigs
That's a
and Darth.
whole another thing. We don't even talk about the Hydra in that one. We just talk about Sharpshooter, but the whole Hydra is a whole nother. I'm gonna leave that one to Deadwood Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, let's let somebody figure. I'm not
I
gonna
hear
figure
you.
this one out.
I hear you on that. Like my strategy for covering Clan Boss here, Hydra Clan Boss on the channel is going to be invite Deadwood Jedi a lot as a guest.
100%, bro. It's let's get the smart math guys in
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I did not do good in math.
I got you guys covered with all the Hydra content you need. It's going to all be featuring another YouTuber who you can just watch his YouTube videos.
Exactly.
But anyway, so we get the artifacts. So wait, you guys talked about the Hydra rewards. So what do you mean? You talked about what?
Literally at the bottom. Scroll all the way to the bottom.
Oh,
see the sharp
okay,
above?
okay. The chance of placing freeze will increase to 50%. That's it.
Welcome to the game. Simple.
Okay. They didn't They didn't mention anything about the stuff that guy asked about though. That I saw. You know,
Not that I saw either.
It's all about Hydra and all the heads and all the stuff and whatever. Again, I'll link this, guys, the update for you guys as well if you want to check that out. But for me, man, I think that we addressed all the main concerns in the game. For me, though, still the number one concern, and maybe I'm in the minority here, I don't know, but it's still time for me, man. Like, it's hard to have even 2 accounts into life or 1 account into life if you're really focusing on doing everything every day. And now that they're adding the Hydra Clan Boss and the Void Tower and God knows what else in the future, which I think is all cool. It's just like, okay, give us some time back. But that's my big thing still. But what about you? Is there anything that you're concerned about that we didn't talk about?
Kind of like I've said before, like in the last 3 months in particular, I've slowly been becoming like more optimistic. Like there's things I'm concerned about, but a lot of it is the game is, in my opinion, really good casual. Like, if you just play it as a casual gacha game, like the way God intended, basically, you just go in there, open some dopamine, mess around with your heroes and collect them and just play what you want. I think the game's really fun. Like objectively a good game for that. The part I think that gets frustrating is, like you're saying, when you have to put a lot of time in it. And I think that comes down to, like, the really elitist type stuff where it's like I have to do everything. Like I have to do all the clan boss. I got to do all the Doom Tower. I have to clear my faction. Where it's like you don't have to do that. So like for me, my biggest issue when I'm going into it is I was having problems with like doing all these different things. But then I realized my biggest issue always comes down to one issue, which is character acquisition, because the game's fun to play and fun to acquire heroes.
Yes.
So I want more heroes. I want more heroes to play with on my free to play. I want heroes to be cheaper for people to purchase. I want heroes to be more useful for people. And that's kind of what it comes down for me. And I think heroes are getting, I don't know if I would say like power crept, but they are getting better. So they're becoming like more useful, I feel like, too. Stuff like simple and the epic we're getting with the login stuff, okay, it counters my point. But really, I guess the cat has her own complaint about dinner being ready, but really it just comes down to give the average people a few more shards a week. I mean, that's give them a few more ancient shards a week, and they are slowly doing that over time. Yeah. So honestly, I'm fine. Like whenever I have a problem about something, I make my video and I talk about it. But like, the game's fine. Like it's getting better, and I don't have like overwhelming super faith. I just don't care as much. Like it's a lot more fun, a lot more simple as a casual. So
yeah,
that's just where I'm at.
You care,
man.
but you're not going to let it frustrate you. You're basically just gonna you're just gonna do what you want to do in the game, and that's it. It's a game at the end of the day. I kind of have the same.
That's what I advise people to do as well.
I have the same mentality, but I guess the only caveat is like, yeah, I want a lot of champions too, and I want to, I want all these things, and I agree with you 100% on people just want to, open and build champions. Building champions and building teams is what this game is all about for me, right? It's very similar to you.
Yeah.
And you just don't have a lot of time to do that if you're focusing on actually getting artifacts and silver and everything that you need to do so, right? So like that's where the time comes into play for me. But, I think that we pretty much stand on the same kind of area here when all said and done. Well, hey,
pretty much right in there. I mean, I was just saying you got a fair counterpoint. Like, I understand. Yeah, you're right. Heroes are fun, and it does take a long time to improve the hero grind. Maybe we could attack Minotaur at some point and talk about maybe Minotaur being cut down in terms of length now that there's so much progression for heroes. But that's probably a video to ask on
Yeah.
a different day.
Yeah, that's true. Like, yeah, I think that all the key areas with keys, faction wars, Doom Tower bosses. I think that I forgot who was on the channel when I think it was Hades, but I kind of threw it out there. What if you could instant, kind of like Marvel Strike Force, and I know you play that. You can just instant click on some of those areas, you know, the tournaments or whatever. Once you beat it once, but I think he suggested no, you have to 3-start one time in the day, and then after you do that, because that way it prevents you from taking all your gear off and it kind of abusing the system. You 3-start one time, or you beat it one time, and then you can just click it and auto finish. I think that's a great solution in those areas.
Dude, apparently I really need to feed my cat. You hearing this?
Yeah, dude, it's some nuts, some
Something
crazy
is-
stuff's going on.
Okay,
I think it's a good time to end the video here.
Yeah, I gotta feed my cat, boys.
I'm not even gonna edit this one. I'm just gonna throw
me.
I'm just gonna throw it into the YouTube world. No edits at all today. Darth, thank you so much for joining me. Guys, let us know what your opinions are on any of this stuff. You know, are you more on the side of we should be speaking out way more often until these things are changed? Or are you, and how do you feel about these individual things? Are you kind of on the mindset, kind of like Darth, where, dude, I'm just gonna try to play the game, and you know, like that's all I'm kind of worried about, doing what I like to do.
I've gone through my stages of denial. I'm just here to have fun now.
Or,
you know, grief has gone through already, or whatever.
Or are you somebody who this game is really like at the core, you like it? Otherwise, why would you be playing it? But it's starting to really frustrate you lately, you know, to the point where you are getting a little angry, a little bit upset about the, you know, the direction of the game. Either way, either camp that you're in, let us know in the comments below, and let us know if there's a topic that we didn't touch on that's really getting under your skin. And we're happy to, I'm happy to invite Darth back and have a follow-up conversation. So, Darth, feed your cat, man. And
we'll talk right here. I don't know if you can see her, but she's sitting right there.
No, she's right off the green screen. She's right off the green screen. But yeah, man, thanks for joining us, and we'll have all Darth's information in the show notes below. Thanks, man.
See you on the next one. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, take it easy. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. And as always, take care, guys.